How's it going, y'all? I'm going to take you through how I would use an AI app in order to design a meal plan and then a training program. Now, is it something that I recommend? I'm kind of 50-50. It's kind of weird, probably hearing from a coach teaching you how to do this. Really, the main reason why I want to put this video out here is because I know there are already people using AI to design meal plans and training programs. And if you're not familiar with what to watch out for, it's the point of this video, I'm going to take you through what to watch out for on a meal plan side and on a training side of how to structure a program that's going to be, decent. Then you might just take it for what it is. And so that's the great thing is that this information is available and you don't have to search all over the internet for it anymore. It's in one spot. But the other thing is that people might assume that it is going to give the best advice. And we all know that there are so many nuances to individuals, biomechanics, food allergies, injuries, all preference in food, in exercise, what's available at a gym, what isn't available at a gym. There are so many things that it doesn't know that you need to watch out for. And so that's the point of this video. So stay tuned for this is part 1 covering the meal plan, and then part 2 will be the training. And keep in mind, again, I'm not, a dietitian, not a doctor. This is just how I would use it if I were to use it. And you can kind of use the same prompt if you like what I'm showing you, okay? So this will give you a very general, rough idea on a meal plan. So the reason why I'm using DeepSeek is Claude and ChatGPT are both decent at generating training and meal plans. I've tested all of them. DeepSeek tended to give more concise and better recommendations without having to refine it and refine it and refine it again. I can give it one prompt and it pretty much nails it. The other ones aren't as good, and the same thing on the training side. This gives you a pretty decent idea about the training side as well. Plus, it's free. You just have to be at the mercy of their servers. If they're overloaded, sometimes it takes a little while. But here is the prompt that I would use, and this is on a weight loss plan. Okay, so you can ask it for maintenance, and you can ask it for a gaining plan too. Again, bodybuilding channel, I'm assuming that you're either trying to maintain, cut weight, or gain weight. So here we go. Ask it to design a meal plan that yields a 0.7% rate of loss per week. And how come I picked that number? Well, the general guideline for weight loss to be sustainable and not considered a extreme weight loss plan is between 0.5% to 1% of overall body weight lost in a week. Okay, so I just picked something right in the middle. Again, the choice is yours. Then I said customize it to my stats. So you need to tell it your sex, your age, your weight, and your activity level. If you're not sure about your activity level, you can simply just activity levels. Sedentary, moderately active, vigorously active, extremely active. And you can go from here, right? So it uses these examples. You pick what you want. So I put very active, okay? I'm not training 2-a-days, which would be the extreme version. Okay, so now I said to customize it to my stats. So you need to tell it what, certain things are. So your sex, your age, your weight, and then what activity level you are. So there's 5 overall activity levels that you can choose from. Sedentary, moderately active, active, very active, and then extremely active, which would be like running 2-a-days, or having a construction job and then going and training 6 days a week or something like that. So find out, figure out, be honest with yourself and choose the right one. And I would typically err on the conservative side so that if you are going for a weight loss plan, that it doesn't start you off higher than what it should. The next thing is pick how many meals. So I just said 4 meals. At 180 grams of protein. How come 180 grams of protein? 1 gram per pound is kind of the golden standard. If you're a female, maybe you can drop that to maybe 0.8 grams per pound, but I just like to round up. So, and now there's new research confirming that on a weight loss program, actually increasing beyond that 1 gram per pound upwards to 1.6, 1.7 grams per pound can be very beneficial to hold on to muscle mass. So take that for what it is. Another thing, it makes 180 divided by 4 very easy to do 45 grams per meal. So very spaced out. I asked it whole foods only, or I told it whole foods only. No oils for fats, only whole food sources. So sometimes these like to use oils to fill in the fats for the macros, and I'd rather eat food than drink an oil or have it on top of my food, because it's just going to take up more space in my stomach and keep me fuller if I'm, dieting. That's personally what I'd rather want. What I'd rather have is the feeling of satiety. So then I tell it to use metric measurements, because it's easier to measure in grams than it is, in my opinion, to do ounces or pounds. It's a little bit more precise, and most things are in grams anyway. So that's what I ask it to do. The next one is to use the raw weights for carbs and fat sources. The carbs one is really the main one, because you can have people that like their oatmeal really runny, which means that if it was a cooked weight, it would be extra water. You really wouldn't know how much is in there, versus someone who might like their oatmeal a little bit more dense. Right? So raw weights for that. And I tell it to use cooked weights for meat sources, because it's, one, more sanitary to measure out the meat after it's cooked. You don't have to worry about cross-contamination, flipping around raw meat on your scale and doing all this, just do cooked weights. And then the other reason is most of the time you're going to see cooked measurements anyway. Just keep an eye out for it for whatever calorie tracking app you're using, that it is the cooked weights. And then the last one is define the level of leanness of the meat that it's going to use, because if it said ground beef, well, you have the choices anywhere between essentially 80-20, which is chuck, all the way up to the extremely lean 96.4 ground beef. You need to know which one you're using. That's the last thing to prompt it for. And there you go. Punch that in, and it's going to tell you, here we go. So again, like I said, it's going to calculate your total daily energy expenditure, and it's going to say, okay, around 2,900 is maintenance, which means that we're going to shoot for 2,300 at the rate of loss that I requested. So here it goes, and it's telling you exactly what it is. Now the next thing you want to do is go through the meals and verify that it is actually accurate, okay? So that's right. Yes, that's right. That's right. Now, if you want to get specific and you don't want to use, eggs in the morning, you want to have something else, well, tell it, I don't want eggs. Give me chicken breast or whatever it is. You can be as specific as you want with your requests, and it'll change it for you. Okay, if you want 5 meals instead of 4, it can do that too. Totally up to you, and you can customize it. Gives you the breakdown for your macros and your total calories for this meal plan. And that's really it. Again, this is just a starting place, okay? Something to get you going. If you're there scratching your head and you want to get going and you don't know where to begin, I would use this and go from there. And then you can adjust up and down from where you're at as your diet progresses. Hopefully this helps. I will copy and paste this prompt with just some variables filled in here. So if you want to fill in your own stats and put this in your AI app of choice, go for it. Again, take this with a grain of salt. It's just something that I see people using already, and I'd rather have a good prompt than someone not really knowing what to ask it for and getting a meal plan that doesn't really suit their needs. So have you used this before? Would you use it? Do you think I'm crazy for showing this? I'd love to hear your thoughts, any kind of feedback. As always, Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2 where I'm going to cover training. See you then.